Here's some of the tools you'll need to inspect and diagnose it. You'll need an extension, a 10 millimeter, 12 millimeter, 3/8 ratchet, needle nose pliers, long needle nose pliers, a curved needle nose pliers, pick, a Phillips screwdriver, and a flathead screwdriver, as well as a vacuum pump. CRV. We got a code. I think it's a P1077, which is an IMRC code, intake manifold runner right here. It's actually in here inside the intake manifold. But anyways, so what we're gonna do today is we're gonna go ahead and get this thing taken apart. We're gonna start by taking this off right here. We're gonna pull the battery out. After we pull the battery out, we're gonna pull just this part of the intake off. We don't have to take this off right here. So I'm gonna pull this part of the intake off. Some people take the power steering off. I actually leave it on. So we're gonna go ahead and get to it right now. Fuck. Took about 25 minutes, if that, to get out. Nothing real serious. Pulled this back just to give you some wiggle room. A lot of people actually disconnect this whole thing and pull it back out this way. Some people try to get to it from the bottom, but you don't even have to go to the bottom of the car to get to where you need to be at. You can see there's some gunky stuff all right up in here in the runners and everything. So what we're gonna do is I'm pretty sure there's gunk and stuff up inside the intake manifold. So we're just gonna inspect everything, and whatever needs a good cleaning, we're gonna go ahead and clean it up. So here's the throttle body. Everything's still attached to the throttle body. We didn't take anything. We just simply disconnected the throttle body off the intake manifold. Had some of the coolant lines that came off the throttle body, removed those, and yeah, a little bit of coolant, under probably half a quart of coolant dropped out. Not bad again. So what we're gonna go ahead and do right now is inspect the intake manifold. So this is the IMRC, right? This whole, let's see if I can set this up. This whole section right here, this big old little attachment, and then here's the sensor for it, the positioning sensor. So what we're gonna do is apply some vacuum to it and make sure the runners inside of the intake manifold are working properly. You barely see in there. There's 3 bolts on here, 1, 2, and 3 right here. Went ahead and removed those already. And you kind of want to wiggle this out. Don't just pull on it, you could potentially break something. So just wiggle it out. This could be the problem. There's a lot of gunk on there and stuff, and what happens is sometimes this gunk gets on here and it doesn't allow, you see all that gunk and stuff all right here, that build up. So what happens is that doesn't allow the intake, the runner, or the module to control it, because this moves inside of your intake manifold. And when it's all gunked up and stuff like that, it doesn't allow the system to operate smoothly. If I could get a light up in there, 1 second, I'll get a flashlight, put a light up in there, and you can see this thing is just all gunked up back there. So that's probably what the error code came from. So we're gonna go ahead and give this a good cleaning. Lid right here. Be very careful when you pull this off, because you can break these little pieces right here, these little clips and stuff. So you don't want to do that. Inside this lid right here is a spring right here. So you applied vacuum to the diaphragm, which I did, and it was not working. So that leads me to believe that there is some type of leak up inside the diaphragm. I didn't know where the leak was at, so more inspection. Upon inspecting, this sits up in here, nice and tight. So I didn't want to break it. Rolled it over with my finger, and just inspecting as much as I could see without damaging it. We got to this area right here, and you can see how old this is, and it's wearing on that edge. So once I got right here, there's a leak. So the sensor's still good. We checked it. The diaphragm is what's bad. So we're gonna go ahead and replace this diaphragm. We're gonna clean the runner up. We're gonna clean the runners in here up, and we're also gonna clean this up right here, insert it back in, and the car should be running back perfectly fine. So this is how you remove, inspect, and fix your IMRC problem on your 2004 Honda CR-V. Hope this video was real helpful with you guys. Please, 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 please like, subscribe, and drop it. So the CR-V is put back together. Again, we're checking out why it's through a P1077 IMRC code. So what we are doing now is we put some water up inside the radiator. The reason why I didn't use the antifreeze is because I only lost maybe a quarter of the fluid, a quarter of a quart. So I just decided to put some water up in there. But we're gonna let the car warm up and make sure we get all the bubbles out the system. That way we don't have anything going on with the idle or the throttle body. So make sure after you're done with putting everything back together to properly bleed your system. That's about as much coolant as I lost. So again, just bleeding the system, and we're gonna go ahead and drive it around and check for a code. With this type of code, it pops up within the first 5 minutes of driving. Hey guys, quick little recap. So we checked out the IMRC today. We had a code for it, which was a P1077, which is intake manifold runner control, I believe. So what we did was cleared the code first of all, and before it popped back up, it actually popped up on the scan tool in the pending code section. So I drove it around for about 5 minutes, and then the check engine light lit up, and it was no longer in the pending code section. It was inside of the actual error section, which it triggered the check engine light. So once it triggered the check engine light, I knew that there was an issue. So we pulled it off the car. We pulled the intake manifold off the car, pulled the IMRC out, cracked open the IMRC diaphragm because we wasn't getting any vacuum to the vacuum pump. After we did that, we found out that there was a hole in the diaphragm. We replaced the diaphragm, installed it back on the car, and now the car has no type of check engine light and there's no type of pending codes. The cool thing about this fix is it's fairly easy to diagnose, and the other cool thing about it is some codes take a long time to pop back on after you clear them, but this one pops back on within 5 minutes. So we let the car cycle 3 times and drove it 3 times from dead cold to operating temperatures, and we still have no check engine light. Therefore, we have 100% completely fixed this error code. Car's idling right now. Again, this is a 3rd trip out, and there's no issues whatsoever. We got the scan tool right here. There's no codes on there, so we're gonna go into the pending code section. There's no pending codes. So we're all good. Let's talk about the IMRC a little bit. What that does is the big thing that we pulled out, which is inside of the intake manifold, what it does is helps the car generate more torque at low RPMs and high RPMs. So at low RPMs, the IMRC is closed. Or I'm sorry, we're not going to call it the IMRC. We're going to call it just a runner control module, which rotates. That is closed, which helps the car generate more torque at a lower RPM. Once the car goes, I believe, 3,500 RPM, it opens up so the car can have more top-end horsepower and torque. So what happened was when the diaphragm had a hole in it, you can't generate any vacuum for the diaphragm. And the vacuum is what controls the unit that rotates to open. So if there's no vacuum, then therefore that unit will not rotate. So it's stuck in a low setting. And when it's in a low setting, you're not going to have your top end horsepower. So you're losing horsepower, you're messing up your fuel economy, and you're putting a little bit more stress on your engine because it's not running optimal. So we went ahead and we fixed that issue, and everything works perfectly fine. I've seen a couple IMRC videos and they weren't as helpful, so I wanted to go ahead and generate this video for you guys. I hope it was very helpful for you guys. If you could please like, subscribe, and comment, I greatly appreciate that. Give it a thumbs up if this was a helpful video towards you, and share it with your friends. Again, it's a 2004 Honda CR-V IMRC P1077 FIX by DFR Stance. Check out the Instagram at DFR Stance, at DFR_Stance. Give us a follow, check out some of our photos, and check out our work. I appreciate you guys. And again, thanks. I hope you guys have a blessed day.